What is up, everybody? We are in the car today, and I don't really know how to set it up in the car like some of the greats, but I did the best I could, and we're here together. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. Do me a favor as you come in here. Please give me a one in the comments if you can hear me okay. Give me that good old one in the comments if you can hear me okay. Um, first time I'm not the first time I'm ever doing this, but the first time in the recent future that I'm doing this. Alan, my boy, trust it. I want to give a quick announcement. Going forward, the vast majority of the political content is going to be over on Notorious BDT YouTube channel. So at the beginning of the year, you're going to be, if you're looking for these topics, make sure you're subscribed to the Notorious BDT YouTube channel. And we're going to do more of the politics there. And we're going to do the black stuff, the Pan-African stuff over here. And if there's any overlap, we're going to do it over here, right? But today, we need to talk about something that is all over the place. It's exploding on X. Everybody's talking about it. And I wanted to give a little bit of my opinion and my perspective on this. And hopefully that will help you make a decision as to where you stand on it, or you can disagree with me. We definitely have all the capabilities in here that we do on the laptop. We can bring people up and all that stuff. Only difference is we might not be able to play like videos and whatnot from, I might not be able to play them, like pull them up and play them unless I prepare ahead of time. But just, give me some grace. Just came from jujitsu practice, right? I got my joint on, and I was like, let me get something up for my people because I haven't been with y'all in a minute. I've been busy grinding, you know what I'm saying? Getting to that money. Shout out to Flowers, shout out to Zagalita, shout out to Dress, shout out to my boy Alan HB. But Vivek Ramaswamy, the Indian, and Elon Musk, the South African white man, are under, many people are saying they're under attack, or at the minimum, they are being highly scrutinized by the Maga section of the Republican Party for comments that they made recently concerning immigration into the United States as far as tech and engineering or STEM is concerned. So Vivek Ramaswamy basically said that there should be more H-1B visas. H-1B visas allowed for tech companies to hire talent from different parts of the world. And he felt that there's a huge cultural issue in America that prevents American companies from being able to find the talent in tech or in STEM that is needed. He received a lot of backlash from this, over this, from a group of the MAGA faithful who basically feel like they just fought a war politically over immigration, and especially over immigration that steals opportunities and resources from the American people. Now, you can go absolutely anywhere. They are covering this topic. Some people are covering it genuinely from a journalistic perspective. Others are covering it disingenuously, simply to drive a wedge of division between conservatives in the United States. And we're up here basically as conservatives to make sure that we encourage and promote unity amongst our brand, right? If you're a conservative, if you're a Trump supporter, we want you to, just remember that us stand together is what got us to this point, which is we're in a good place, I feel, as a country. And we need to stay together to continue to have prosperity and keep the crazies away. Now, everybody sound off about how you feel about it in the comments. I really want to know how you guys feel about this in the comments. Because there's a lot of conservative people who have strong feelings about this. A lot of people feel like, this is like a betrayal. A lot of people like Bakulu Baka is talking about Trump's cabinet members come from immigrant backgrounds and stuff. Bakulu, Donald Trump comes from immigrant backgrounds, so that ain't really saying much, right? Ultimately, both sides, this is my opinion, both sides are right, in my opinion. Both sides are right about what they're saying concerning the situation. The H-1B visa system in America has been abused. Before I get deeper in this, let me say this for what. I don't really understand how people can talk about the Republican Party or the conservative groups or party when the Democrats were totally fine with giving all these H-1B visas to all these different countries and allowing people to come in here lying, people not even working in tech, but they're allowed to come in this country and steal jobs from Americans. They were totally fine with abusing the system. Second, they not only were abusing the H-1B visa system, they were just letting illegal immigrants come into the country across the southern border and steal jobs and opportunities and resources from Americans, period. So for anybody, these liberals, they're out here in these streets, they're trying to make it seem like, oh, see, you guys messed up by picking Trump. Listen, man, Donald Trump in any capacity is 1,000 times better than whatever the liberals were talking about, because they were basically saying, just let the floodgates open and let everybody come in here as long as we get our cut of the money from our paymasters, our Chinese paymasters, and from the cartels. So let's not even begin to start with that nonsense. KP, it's funny when white people are feeling oppressed. I don't know why people think that America is just made up of white people, but some of us, we got to grow up. America has more people in it than just white people. White people are not the only people affected when something happens in America. I need all my black people to understand that. You live here. When the Twin Towers got blown up, did white people just die? No. Or 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina, did just white people die during Hurricane Katrina? When the mass shooter smoking people are only white people dying? So this idea that like somehow there's that America's this separate place, only this is just white people and this is just black people, it doesn't even make any sense. And it's a very disingenuous and I would call it a very lazy argument and position on things. Look, we trying to do better, but ultimately both sides are right. But what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna allow a bunch of losers, we're not gonna allow, I gotta let this one know that's hot spot. What we're not gonna do is we're not gonna allow a bunch of losers who were wrong as two left shoes on as to who they like KP. KP voted for Kamala. There's no way, he's my good buddy, I love him like a brother, would do anything for him. But there is no way I'm gonna let somebody like him who voted for Kamala Harris to destroy this country tell me what I need to do now that the people who I voted for are in power. That's what we're not going to do. We're not taking recommendations from the losers. We're not going to take recommendations from the cheap seats, okay, guys? They don't get a say. They hated their country so much that they were ready to put a damn warmongering criminal in office just so they could feel better about Trump hurting their feelings. But really, the deeper thing is they wanted to put the warmonger female in there because they wanted to be able to shut their minds off and be lazy and let the I love you too, my brother. They wanted to allow the government to rule their thinking, to control their minds, right? And before, and we didn't allow that to happen, straight up. And can I just tell you something? I'm not gonna lie. When I heard about this situation, it brought a damn smile to my face. I love this. I love this, okay? I love this. This is America. This is what America is about. Not everyone conform into one train of thinking, one ideology, and getting shamed and canceled if they don't submit to what a bunch of other weirdos think. This is America. To have the tough conversations, find a consensus, and end up in a place where we all can make progress. That is America, guys. This is what the Civil War was fought over. This is what every conflict in America was fought over, mostly. And guess what? We always come out on the winning end when we have these type of conversations. Because believe it or not, though many of us just started paying attention to it, the situation regarding the H-1B visas has been a big issue for a very long time. And would you believe me if I told you that Vivek Ramaswamy was one of the very first people to come out harshly criticizing the H-1B visa system? And he wasn't criticizing it because he felt like only Indians was getting it, or he wanted Indians to get it, or whatever. He was criticizing it because he said it was not doing what it was intended to do, which was to bring the best and the brightest from other countries in the tech sector to America, to keep America ahead of the game when it came to tech and engineering and science and all this stuff. And Vivek is 1000% right. These people who are getting these visas are not getting these visas based on merit. These people are getting these visas based on luck, a lottery. Basically, if you get the luck of the draw, you get an H-1B visa. And then somehow people was bringing their like family members, cousins, old ass grandpa, nigga don't even know how to work a computer, but somehow he's getting over here to America, and he's up in here claiming he working for a tech job, right? And then the Indians, they were doing what they're supposed to do, which is, and I say they're supposed to do, they were using their positions that they gained, right, in these different tech companies, Google and all that stuff, to hire more of their people and bring more of their people over to this country. Who's not going to do that? That's my question. Who's not going to do that? So I really don't look at it like there's one side that's bad and one side that's good. I look at it like this is why Maga and the conservative fought so hard to gain the presidency, because we brought somebody in who is going to clean house and correct these systems. And I know that Donald Trump is going to correct these systems because in his first term, what did he do? He limited, he cut down and put a limit on how many H-1B visas were going to be given out, because he was going to clean out this situation. He knew that first thing you have to do is you got to stop the bleeding. Then you can work, then you can focus on addressing the situation and correcting it. It was basically a lottery, come out fighting. That's how they were treating it, like a lottery. They were not, it's supposed to be for skilled labor, but the system was being abused, right? And the way we know that the system was being abused, which even Vivek talked about this, is most of the people getting the visas was Indians. Like, bro, where's the other? Like, do you think Indians are the only people who work in the tech sector? Right? Do you understand that? So we know that even though this was supposed to be only going to the best and the brightest, right? It was actually being manipulated by certain demographics to their advantage. Now, I'm not going to knock the Indians for doing it, just like I'm not going to knock the Mexicans and the Hispanics and the cartels for basically lying, telling people to lie on their asylum applications and tell them that they fear for their life, so they needed to come to America for seeking asylum. We know this is what they're doing because a bunch of people want to come into America. Nothing's wrong with that. That's what they're supposed to do if they want to get what they want. But my bigger question is, as African Americans, as European Americans, as Americans, period, are you just going to sit back and complain about what illegal, or not illegal, but what immigrants are doing to help them to gain access to America? are you going to focus on improving your skills, right? Learning new skills, studying, getting a higher education, getting the training that you need, listening to videos and reading ebooks, taking courses and boot camps to improve yourself so that you can take advantage of the opportunities that are here in this country, where you could be making $150,000 and $200,000, on a 1-year contract working for one of these tech companies. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to sit back and allow immigrants to come into the country and take over these jobs? Now, I understand that there were some abuses of this system. And that's the biggest issue that I have with this whole thing that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are saying. Because they're kind of like, yeah, the system's broken, but we need the system so we can bring in qualified people to work at these different companies. The reality was this. The reality is this. Both Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, right? They are misrepresenting the magnitude of the situation involving these H-1B visas and involving how American citizens are exploited and taken advantage of in the interest of bringing migrants on visas into this country to work these tech companies, because it wasn't really about the best and brightest. If you go around the world and you think that there's more people who know how to operate a computer successfully in China than America, you're probably wrong about that, right? Like a high level education, high level training and stuff. If you think, oh, there's all these countries where more people have these skills than America, you're probably wrong, in the sense of Americans will show up more ready to work on day one. These people are more like they have to be trained, right? But what these tech companies were doing, and this is where the problem arose, is they were actually just bringing these different people in on these visas so they could pay them less money. They weren't bringing them in because they couldn't find a workforce and they couldn't find qualified people to come in, to work the jobs. They were doing this because based on the H-1B visa, you can actually pay people who come in on H-1B visas less money than you are required to pay an American citizen. So this is what the tech companies were doing. They weren't just like, oh man, we can't find nobody to work in the HR department, or we can't find nobody to come in and work as the IT specialist. That wasn't the problem. There are plenty of Americans. We got Asians here too that are citizens. We got Indians here too that are citizens. We got nerdy ass Nigerians who are citizens. We got nerdy ass Black Americans, not calling nerds, but we got Black Americans that work in tech. You would be hard to find a Black person in America who doesn't know at least 3 to 5 people who work in tech. My boy, Africulture Concepts works in tech. My boy, your tech homeboy works in tech. My homie Ian works in tech. My homegirl Ann works in tech. My boy Jimmy Aldomavar works in tech. I know my boy Rotha, he works in tech. We all know a bunch of people work in tech. So when it's like, oh, we don't have the people, that's bullshit. What they were doing was trying to bring people in and pay them less money. That was the goal. That is the goal of all companies, trying to find a way to afford labor costs. If you've ever ran a business, the highest expense you will pay in running any successful business is what? Labor. So if you're running a business, the thing you're constantly trying to do is reduce the cost of labor. And these tech companies found a way to do that, and they colluded with who? The Democrats, to get more H-1 visas approved and to send those visas to the countries who had workers who would come in and work for peanuts. That's just the way it is. If you live in any major city in America, there is no question There's no question that you are seeing an influx of Indian people in your community. I live in Long Beach, California. If you just go downtown and hang out, you will see Indian families now rolling down the street. Now, before in Long Beach, you didn't see that. If you saw an Indian, you was probably taking a girl to one of these whore motels to rip her back off for a couple of hours, and you was using one of their little rundown hotels to get your swerve on in it, right? Now you see Indian families, father, mother, and babies walking the streets of Los Angeles. You didn't see that 10 years ago. You didn't even see that in 5 years ago. But now you see that a lot more. Why? Because these companies realize they have found loopholes where they can find workers, bring them here, and pay them less money. A lot of these guys are working in tech, and they might get a contract that's supposed to be like for like $150,000 for the year. They'll pay these dudes like $60,000. They don't care. They're in America. They don't care. They got a cousin who owns a motel. They'll live there, right? So when you look at what's going on, it's really just tech companies trying to find cheap labor to increase their bottom line or to maintain their bottom line. So when you look at this situation and you're like, oh my God, look at what Trump's doing, or look at what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are doing. They're not doing anything. They're doing what they feel is in the best interest of their country. And because the MAGA crowd, us, we are paying attention, they're not going to get away with that. Now, I would much rather have a situation where you got some advisors to the president trying to advocate for something that is wildly unpopular among American citizens, and the American citizens checking their ass at the gate, letting them know, hey, dog, it ain't going down like that. Then have a situation like what was going on under the Biden administration, where these guys were just going to the White House, Joe Biden just giving them whatever the fuck they want, and they were just hiding it. They were just concealing it. And this is what was going on under Democrats. This is how Democrats roll. They do everything in secrecy. So that because they know anything that they feel will be unpopular with American citizens, they hide it. Anything they feel where they could trick American citizens into thinking that something is something that it's not, they publicize it. It's it's not really it's not rocket science, right? And we are bringing America back. Trump is going to make America great again, but he can only do that with the cooperation of the American people. We can no longer just be casual observers of politics and casual observers of what's going on with our economy. We have to be fully locked in, focused on what is going on in this country, because if we're not, we will lose it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If we are not fully locked in as to what is going on in this country, we will lose this country. Because you better believe, for as much as everybody else wants to demonize America, as much as all these people want to talk about how bad America is, they'll get a left leg and a left testicle to be up in America. That is the facts, right? So is MAGA turning on Elon and Vivek? No. One, I believe Vivek, when he was speaking, what he was saying was taken out of context. And a lot of the people who are going in on this dude don't really understand the history of, Vivek and what he has said. And some people came at me on Instagram talking about that. And I was just like, you guys are ignorant. I know just by what's being said that you guys don't follow this shit like I do, right? So it's not even a point of addressing those ignorant people. But what we have to let people know as Americans is, no, we're ready to work. I don't know about you guys. But my daughter has a freaking 4.1 GPA. If you would sit down with your kids and help with their homework and make sure they're taking their ass to school, your child will be ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are present in this country. And your child won't be worried about a damn Indian or a immigrant or a Chinese immigrant or a Nigerian immigrant. They will be right there ready to be the boss of those people and have those people work for them. The thing that threatens us and our people and our children and our future is this idea that you can pay these people less. if they come over on an H-1B visa. That is the issue here. And if you look at a lot of these major tech companies, you'll notice that the head of these companies are Indians. And it's not because they're super talented and smarter than everybody else. It's because they can pay them less. If this guy's going to be the president of Google, and he's willing to be the president of Google for $1 million a year, yeah, you're going to take him over the black dude or the white dude or the Indian who is a citizen in America who said, no, dude, you got to give me at least 5 million, 10 million a year. It's all about, hey, how much they're going to pay. Believe me, these companies don't give a damn about what your skin color is. Because if you come to LA, you could go up to Beverly Hills, where the people who you would say are the most racist ever. Bet you they got a bunch of Mexicans working in the kitchen. And if the Jamaicans come through and say, look, boss, we'll work for $5 less than them, you'll have a bunch of Jamaicans up in that kitchen. Everything is not about race. Things are more about money and that green dollar, that almighty dollar, than race. And as long as you keep trying to equate everything to race, reduce everything down to race, you're going to be on the losing end because you're looking at the color of someone's skin instead of looking at the balance of their bank account. You're not looking at the size of their wallet and what they're choosing to work for as opposed to what you're willing to work for. They're just undercutting the U.S. labor market. And is it wrong? Hell fucking yes, wrong. But the only people who are going to be able to do something about that are the people of the United States. And you're already in the process of fixing the situation because we got fucking Biden out. And Biden didn't give a damn. As long as the tech companies were kicking him down his cut, he didn't care about selling American citizens out left and right. Biden couldn't give a damn. He was just like, whatever, you want 150,000 more H-1B visas? Fine. And they could bring their cousins with them, right? But we have to start doing work. And I was on Instagram and I was talking about, like, black folks, man. I was like, why is it that the black man always got to act like a hating ass bitch when he sees another group being successful instead of putting himself in position to be successful? If I see an Indian, oh, bro, work for Google. I'm like, yo, I want my cousin. I want my freaking daughter to be in a position of where if she wants to work for Google, she can. Right now, they're saying in America, there's a lack of skilled and talented engineers in America. Well, guess what? If there's a lack of that, you got your little 14-year-old gangbanger sitting up in your house playing damn 2K and Fortnite all damn day. You need to start getting on his or her ass saying, look, bro, what pathway are you in school? Because ain't no way we got a shortage of skilled and talented engineers, but your kid is in a damn a pathway for fucking music. Your kid is in a pathway for arts. Stupid shit. And that is what I'm seeing. My daughter is a very talented artist. She can draw. She can draw good. But when she came home and was like, Dad, I'm joining the art pathway, I was like, shit, no, you're not. You will be in the engineering or law pathway. And you will use the money you make from being an engineer or a lawyer to pursue whatever your dreams are in the world of art. Hunter Biden is an artist, and he's an absolute bum. So what the hell does being an artist have? How is being an artist going to make you successful? If there's any job that AI is taking over, it's art. AI can make you a cartoon. Most of these cartoons you watching is AI generated, like damn near 100%. Even the script. Somali against Pan-Africanism. I'm not going to speak on the quality of work Indians do, but all I'm telling you is if they brought you over here just for cheap labor, it's not a good chance that you're going to be a super quality worker, bro. Because if you look at, like, even when you got Indian people doing like call centers, bro, some of them are very good, but then some of them are just shit. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're tripping. I'm not calling them shit as far as like them as people. I'm saying some of them just have shitty service, customer service, and they mumbling. You can't understand shit they saying. They're not even making an attempt to like serve you. They're just more like, dang, I can't wait till this guy hangs up the phone, right? Uh, Africulture Concept said it best. He said, just like Mexican carpenters, facts. The Hispanic carpenter might do the job for cheap, but I promise you that the quality of the work ain't going to be that good. We call that Mickey Mouse work. They might do it for less than the licensed bonded carpenter, but I guarantee you that work that they do, the quality of it is not going to be that amazing. And if it is, keep that dude around because he's special. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to end up redoing whatever you did a couple years from that time, or a couple months or weeks from that time. You know, once the initial excitement dies down and you realize, wait a minute, this dude cut a lot of corners. This dude cut a lot of damn corners doing whatever job it is that you hired him for. Now you got to call somebody who's qualified, you know what I'm saying, who's licensed and bonded and is a citizen to do the work. That's just the reality. I had a Mexican dude who was doing electrical work for me. The guy had my electrical shit all messed up. But when I got that Jamaican dude who was a citizen, who was in business for over 30 years, you know what? He charged about $100 more. But guess what? When he handled his business, he fixed the mistakes the Hispanic immigrant dude made, and he did the job right and threw up a little light in my daughter's room for me free of charge. So you get what you pay for at the end of the day. And when you look at these different security breaches and stuff like that, when it comes to the different apps and social media and banks and all that stuff, you can really see why that's happening, because these tech companies are hiring basically a slave labor force, a bunch of people who could give a damn if your social security number is compromised or gets out on the World Wide Web. They don't give a fuck. Dude, they're paying me $14 an hour, dude. You think I give a damn about your privacy and security? Not really. And if I get fired, I could just go work at another job. And then they also tell these people, like, basically, like, if your H-1B visa, if we fire you, you basically got to go back to your country. You fucked. Dude, these people are going to accept all types of abuse from their company, and they're going to be afraid to stand up and say, like, okay, let's unionize or anything like that, because they don't want to get sent back. And that's okay for them. But as Americans, we have to start stepping up. You cannot make America great again if you are not willing to fill the void that is left. If you're not willing to fill the vacuum that is left, once immigrants are, sent back to where these illegals, once they're sent back to where they came from, then you might as well shut your mouth and just let them stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. And me, I'm never going to ask you guys to do something I'm not willing to do. I'm working with my daughter. My daughter is ready to roll, right? She's ready to roll in her engineering pathway. She's rolling with the 4.1 GPA, top of her class, right? And she just had to switch schools. Ended up switching schools. Guess what? Still got a 4.1. Still at the top of her class. It doesn't matter where she goes. She's going to find her way to the top. And that's the way we got to raise our children, to be resilient. As much as we talk shit about Black immigrants, for them to only make up like 4 million people in this country, they have a high capacity for getting their kids to the point of being successful. You can hate on them, or you can imitate them. You can hate on them, or you can start doing what they're doing so that your kids can have the opportunities that their kids have. Period. You can sit up and say, oh, they this and that, and they get special treatment. They don't get special treatment. They just show up and work hard. While your kid is ditching school, their kids are at school. While your kid is out trying to get their freak on and going to ditch parties and shit, their kid is sitting up in class getting their education. When it's time to try to apply to get AP classes, and your kid like, hell no, fuck that AP class, man. I don't want to have a 6th or 7th period. I want to leave school early. Their kids are sitting up at the school doing that. I mean, even my daughter, some of the shit she says, like, sometimes I just be like, man, bro, you a nerd, bro. I was telling her, like, don't you want to have like 7th period free so you can come home early? She's like, nah, dad, I joined this like engineering club and we stay and we gonna do like a bridge project and this and this and that. And she wants to be there. She wants to be there learning, getting her education. And she also is a hell of an athlete. But if we gotta go, we gotta be a little bit more like Ivy League than like SEC. We need to start having like athletes with a brain, people who got the athleticism and got the brains to match. Not just, oh, my son can jump high and dunk a basketball, so that's all he got to focus on. Oh, my kid can hit one hell of a spin move and run the football down the field real fast. So that's all we're going to focus on from this point out. We just can't be dumb Negroes anymore. We cannot be the typical black 1990s Negro who only teaches our kids to dream and aspire to be a damn athlete or a rapper or athlete or a singer, someone in the field of entertainment. Those days are over. Everyone's an influencer now. People watching these streams more than they watching movies and shit now. And in order to be some type of influencer, you got to have some type of qualifiers. What makes you qualified? What qualifications do you have to where I should listen to you and take your advice over my own thinking or my own thought process? I'll tell you one thing. You know what my one qualifier is right here, right now? I have a kid. She's 15 years old, right? She's 15 years old. She has a 4.1 GPA. She's the starting middle blocker on her club volleyball team. I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but she's the starting middle blocker on a very, very renowned club volleyball team where people told me that she probably wasn't even going to be able to get on the court, but she's starting and balling, right? All while maintaining a 4.1 GPA, all while maintaining a social life. And let's pray to God that she don't end up pregnant or no crazy shit like that, right? Does she date? Yes, she had a little boyfriend. I think they broke up. That's her business. But she's living she has a social life, but she's maintaining a 4.1. She's playing sports. She's doing it all, right? And she comes home and she does what every other young girl does, sit up in her room 99% of the time. But there's a difference between sitting up in your room being fast and figuring out what boy you're going to hook up with once your parents go to sleep or when you did school tomorrow, and sitting up in your room 99% of the time getting your rest, so when you get up for school in the morning, you go get a damn education and make it to this damn this practice for whatever sport you play. We're going to have to be involved in our children's life, including but not limited to their educational pursuits. And you might have to be involved even past that when they go out looking for a job. Everyone has something they could teach to their child, because one thing about your children is they look to you for guidance. But if you sit up and blame, if all you can teach your kid is how to blame other people or other groups for their problems, you're failing them. You're failing them. And when I look at shit like FBA and I look at bitch ass niggas like Tariq and I look at just the disgusting shit I see on the internet, I see why we are in the place we are. Because primarily all we pass down to our children is the victim mindset. All we pass down to our children is the ability to blame other people for our problems and why we can't get to where we claim to want to be. But the reality is most of us don't even want to be there. We just don't want to see anybody else over there. And is that the issue you have with immigrants? I don't want to be no fucking engineer, but I just don't want to see the Nigerian guy getting paid more than me. I don't want to be no damn doctor, but I just don't want to see the Filipino guy getting paid more than me. I don't want to be no damn lawyer, but I just don't want to see this Indian dude getting paid more than me. That just makes you a fucking hater. You ain't FBA, you ain't none of that. You just a hating ass motherfucker. Straight up. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, what they're doing is they're challenging your ass. They're not stupid. They're challenging you. They know how these people in America think. A bunch of Americans work for Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. But they understand that Americans like to be challenged. If you don't challenge us, we're not going to go hard because we think, we automatically going to win off rip. If you're not challenging us, we are not going to go hard. And they're challenging you. They're challenging you to be better and put up or shut the fuck up. Because you can talk about make America great again all damn day. But if you ain't about that, then shut the hell up. Period. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Right? Neff, my sister, how you doing? How you doing, Brother Brent? I hope all is well. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Please remember, we are demonetized currently. We are not getting any ad revenue on these videos. And honestly, we going to make it like church. I'm going to shame y'all a little bit because y'all have not been contributing to the stream. Y'all sit up and talk about how this person talk about this and that person don't talk about this and this person and that person. Contribute to the content that you want to see the most. I'm giving you the content. You got to contribute. See, don't make me make a channel about Indian people. They going to contribute. Now, I'm not trying to shame y'all, but I am telling you, we do appreciate your contributions and your contributions are needed. Nobody really has just hours in the day, not me anyway. Nobody really has hours in the day to just throw away. And I'm not throwing them away, but we got to support each other. First and foremost, and then another thing, shout out to my boy JP from the LB for the $5 holler in the Cash App. Bro is always showing love. I want to put the link to invite some people up to speak in the comments. If you want to come up and you want to give your 2 cents on the situation, I'm posting a link in the comments. And you can feel free to do that. Also, you might not have money. You might be broke as hell, right? You might be. Hit the like button. Share the content. Costs you nothing at all. Costs you nothing at all. But I'm not going to say I disagree with what Vivek and Elon are saying. Only thing is, we need to know something. When they're saying what they're saying, they are also saying it understanding that there is a problem with the H-1B visa system. The system is, in fact, broken. There are too many companies who are not using that system to hire the best and the brightest, but are instead using that system to recruit cheap labor. Very, very, very cheap labor. There was this one guy, it was so damn bad. Bro talked about how they told him he was going to be trained. They told a bunch of people, you're going to basically be training your replacement. And if you don't train you're all going to be fired in 3 months. And you're going to train your replacement. And if you don't train your replacement, you are not going to get a severance package. You're not going to get a severance package. Now, shit like that is wrong. Bro was crying. It brought bro to tears just thinking about how he basically was getting fucked over by his own company. But why is that possible? That becomes possible when you got a bunch of citizens who are not paying attention to what's going on. Because all the people who this was happening to, guess what? They were still voting. These tech people be voting for Democrats. And this shit was happening under Democrats, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump cut down the amount of H-1B visas, right? Like, I don't think Americans are mediocre at all. I don't. I think there are a lot of people in other countries who they don't work hard and they're willing to get paid crumbs. Just because you're willing to work for crumbs doesn't mean you're better than an American worker. It just means you're cheap. It just means you want to work for less. Right. It's a $60K a year job. The best and brightest don't want that job. Well, honestly, it's a more than $60K a year job. But when you bring a bunch of immigrants over here, they are willing to work for less than half of what that job is supposed to demand concerning pay. And any company that got sense is going to take advantage of that if they are allowed to do so. And what we need to do, just like Vivek said, we need to stop letting these companies cut corners and take advantage of the H-1B system, so just in the name of acquiring cheap labor. Go ahead, my brother. I can't see your name, but George, go ahead.
Gregory. Oh, yeah. Hi. I'm second-gen African, born in America. I live in Washington State, and this is technically Martin Luther King Jr. County. So they do a lot of integration, and they give a lot of money to the foreigners and like translating things. Like when we go to the library and the voting, they have like translated into Somali, translated into Vietnamese, into Chinese, into Italian, into they translate like everything. So I was thinking about how all of this is tax money technically. So the issue with that is the way kids are raised up here. I'm on a live stream. Sorry. And the way things are, I'm 25. So I grew up like integration era, like straight, like the Bush classroom in that like on the news when they show that classroom and it was the black kid and white kid and Asian. That's how we grew up, like in like every class. And even the white people know, like, yeah, they speak all these languages. And so it distracts people so much that they like a lot of white people drop out on the basis that like it's regular life to them. And then a lot of foreigners, they kind of take heed to like the energy and they just kind of lowball it. But we have so much resources. So then the city had to like redirect a lot of money. Like they were going to close a lot of elementary schools this year, and they had to like basically pretend they weren't going to close it over Christmas break so nobody would stress, but they don't have any money. They're almost 10 billion over police budget. They have no state jail oversight, so people can die in the jails like before they even get to prison. And basically the way people view education up here is like they come from like middle America, the South, the East Coast. So they see it as like, instead of seeing it as a school system, they see it as like the extension of the prison, and how like we know all that prison to pipeline stuff because we have Black Panthers who come up here like and stuff like that. They teach in the colleges and they teach us a lot. Like even when we were in kindergarten, my brothers know they had these animated cartoons of Martin Luther King and this white kid and this black kid. They would go back in time to see Martin Luther King. And then they also showed us about the Birmingham bus bombings, like kindergarten, first grade. They show us that stuff and they say like, yeah, this is real life in America. So the thing about it is a lot of people downplay how much like the populations are, because we're in an airport city. We know how much immigrants come in and how much European people, they're like up here claiming their heritage. I'm Norwegian. I worked with a guy, he was born in Norway and then he had to come here when he was 1. So he's been on papers 39 years of his life. He showed me on his phone, he's on papers and he works a regular job. And that's how Europeans are sometimes. So they get this different view of Europeans. Like it's a less racist view, but they're obviously Americans are going to cling to that white person like, oh, wow, they're less racist. So what happens is a lot of times, like in my schools and the schools around us, for example, they idolize like the black boys, like the light skinned boys, and the black boys, the dark skins, the light skins, they love them, but for like dating and sex. And then outside of that, they like automatically like, oh yeah, the white boy in my class is going to be a leader. The white boy at the private school is going to be a leader. They don't even think about like doing regular things. They assume like, in my generation, like we had Twitter and Facebook and all that. So, and we even had apps in school spreading rumors, like apps that weren't even popular. So like one of them was called Kick, where you're in class sending rumors and nobody can tell because you just took out your phone, send the rumor, put your phone back in your pocket. So we grew up like that. So a lot of people, they like, Martin Luther King says, defer to dream. A lot of people defer to whiteness on the basis that, oh, they're going to get the education. They're going to get the leadership. They're going to be treated that way in society. And it's feminism and patriarchy. Like we learned this shit on Twitter and stuff, but it's like undercutting each other. It makes the kids think there's already somebody who's gonna do the work and be empowered. And we're seeing firsthand like how when we were getting jobs and stuff, they were saying, oh, I went to college and I went to university and they don't have a job for me. So a lot of people were like learning how to rate and evaluate the world through like somebody else's experience of, I didn't get this job, so what's the job prospects? But people are like learning from the prospect of not getting something, even though they have all these things. They have technology. And like what's crazy to me is how Bill Gates, like he's from up here, he was from like a regular kind of neighborhood, and every school here has computers because we have to pay taxes to get him to give us the computers to the schools. Like he finessed the fuck out of us, and I only realized that recently.
Well, the thing is too, I understand exactly where you're going with this, and it's kind of like people treat it like who's going to get what job is a foregone conclusion. And I agree with you 100% because I'm living in California, right? If I
was
tell a
making that
black
mistake
person,
too. I'll take ownership for my mistake.
Right, it's cool. I'm living in California, right? I'm living in Long Beach. If I tell a black person from the South or from anywhere in America, hey man, you should move to California. There's a lot of money out here. It's a bag out here for anybody who want one. What are they gonna say? Oh hell no, California too expensive. This and that and the third, right? And they've never been to California. They've never really came and got in these streets of California. They've never did apartment hunting in California. They've never looked for a house in California. What they're doing is they're going off of someone else's experience,
Yes.
and they're coming to a conclusion based on that. Sometimes I have friends, they're like, man, I'm moving out of California. I'm moving to Texas. So I say, well, why would you move from California to Texas, right? Oh man, it's too expensive here.
Yes.
I ask a few questions to inquire. Bro, you was paying like $1,600 a month for rent, or you was on Section 8 paying $200 a month for rent. What is so damn expensive about California if you on Section 8? But really, people just love following trends. And
Yes.
some people are more trendy than others, right? And
Yes.
they will
Yeah.
go off, someone get on the internet, oh, Texas is the best place ever. I'm moving to Texas. You get your ass out there and get caught in a damn snowstorm, and
No,
you
you can
like,
get human traffic immediately.
what they say?
He's saying about the human trafficking, because in Washington we have a lot of that, and and I actually checked the statistics. I wanted to see, like, I met this girl and she was like, oh, I sugar. I thought that shit was cool. Turns out she used to be trafficked, like had a gun on her every day, but she got out of that. And then, like my brother is saying, in Houston and Texas, they do like heavy trafficking. And in Washington, I found out that the way they split it, like it said like 30% of victims were light skinned. And when I read the population statistics around here, I walk around, I know what people look like. Only like 7% of the King County area, the whole Sound area, is black people. So how are 30% of the women and girls light skinned? So it shows that there's a lot of trafficking. There's a lot of things that go on where when we defer to whiteness as they're gonna have their people in order, regardless how many bad people are, they're gonna have their people. That's a fake perception of life, because we see how girls get angry and upset. Like one of our homegirls from our school, literally, like, she got raped one day. We found out, like, she on Snapchat. We was randomly in downtown, picked her up. Turns out she had got raped that day. But we had like that type of stuff. We're like learning this first time, and girls, they kind of have like their whole secret life. So they have their perceptions. And as we're growing up, I see how like girls, they get picked on early, and we don't notice because we don't have any ties into their life. And then they get angry at the generation they're in, like, oh, you didn't step up, you didn't be this type of man, you didn't set boundaries and make yourself a man that our age group is protected. And we're like, hold on, I had you, like, we go to the same school, we text on Snapchat like maybe 2-3 times, and then it's like all this like personal, like, oh, these are the type of people who can't keep things together. And the whole time we're males, so we know, like, we go to school with them, we know we're all getting the same education, and we see how girls, we see it isn't running my, we see how girls are like, we see how girls are like
let me say
put in
this.
that position.
This is how the black community operates, so it's very easy for us to get for us to fall into the, like, I call it like the new wave of thinking, right? Where nothing, if you go in any black community, 90% of what's said or spread is not based on first-hand experience. It's usually based on
Hearsay,
second or third-hand experience, hearsay, whatever. And that shit's happening in this technological age as well. Social media just allow people to communicate more often with people they wouldn't even see on the day-to-day, basis. And we have to make sure. Yeah, and we have to make sure we're not falling into the stereotypes. Listen, the jobs are out there. The training is out there. The opportunity is out there. If you want it, go get it. Stop looking at this internet, using that as an excuse to not even try and sit on your ass and not do nothing. Greg, thank you. Let me go to Nefertiti. Thank you so much for hopping up, brother.
Sir.
Nev, what up, my sister? Hey, real quick, shout out to my boy Akil for the $5 holler in the Cash App. Guys, feel free to contribute to the stream on Cash App or PayPal. We definitely appreciate your contributions. Hit the like button, all that. If you enjoy what you see, please like and subscribe to the content if you have not already. We are in the building. Go ahead, Nev, my sister. You sound a little bit low. I'm gonna let my window up.
Okay.
A little bit low.
You hear me now?
I hear you now, loud and clear.
All right, perfect. So, I would say with this whole situation, I 100% agree with Elon Musk and Vivek. You know, I just saw this whole drama on social media. I saw this on Twitter, and I was like, wait, this is what's really going on. And I was looking into, I was trying to look into like the context of what's really going on, because a lot of black people were like, you see, I told you Vivek was racist. He was against white people. He was against this and that. So I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then I find out that a lot of people are angry because Vivek and Elon want people to be more qualified in order to get these type of jobs. He's focusing on merit. He's not focusing on, oh, you just have to be American or you have to be foreign. No, it's more about the merit. And I think that's the reason why I think Elon and Vivek are trying to get to this trajectory where if a foreign person is able to is willing to work hard and is qualified and able to have all the qualifications to, you know, do the job, then they will pick them over an American. But don't get me wrong, there's plenty of Americans out there who work for Elon and who also work for Vivek. So they're not
Of
being
course.
biased based on who's American and who. I
The,
just think
the
it's all about being qualified and having merit.
The funny thing is, the Indians was just coming at Vivek saying that he was going against Indians a couple months ago. So
Right.
it's like, make up your damn mind, pick a struggle. Is he going against white folks or is he going against Indians? But the reality is, anytime you have a bunch of people who want something just based on what their skin color is, or they think you should operate in their best interest because you share the same skin color as them, you're always going to have that. You're always going to be called a traitor and all this stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, I deal with it every damn day. People, oh, you hate black people, you're anti-black, yada, 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 yada. And it's like, no, bro, I'm anti-progress. I'm anti having a good economy. I'm pro good economy. I'm anti-violence. I'm anti getting robbed in your freaking own neighborhood. If you live in a black, if you're a black person living in a black area, you got to just be okay with like getting taken advantage of. That's what I'm anti.
Yeah, I realize, and the more I look at these tweets, and you got people in the comments talking about you're a tether and all that bullshit that they keep on fucking saying, and this is what I realize about black people. We will turn any fucking situation and we will try to analyze the whole situation and try to make it seem like it has everything to do about race. You see, Vivek is racist. You see, he don't like white people. No, he wants merit. He wants you to be fucking qualified. He don't want you to be having the victim mentality. That's the problem with us. We have a victim mentality. And the more you hear FBA talking foolishness, the more it gives an understanding of why we are where we're at today as black people. Because there's just no form of accountability and there's no form of just wanting like to make progress.
Wait, I'm going to my boy Hakeem, but look at what this person is saying.
Right.
This shows you where people be ignorant. Derek Foy said, what is JFK's qualification for the job he was given? First of all, his name is RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr.
Hmm.
JFK was his uncle who died in the 1960s. That's what I'm saying, man. People don't even know basic information, but try to ask questions like, bro, you're not even qualified to ask that question. These people, they just want to find anything. And that's why I keep saying you just can't let a bunch of losers, people who couldn't even make the right decision on when it came to president, you can't let them dictate, what you do once you get power. But these people are ridiculous. Go ahead, my boy Hakeem. Good to hear from you again.
Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Can you hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. Man, this whole thing, I mean, it's not even all right, let's be clear. There's a cost, there's a cost effectiveness to it, like either way you slice it. But at the same time, this year in 2025, all the companies, everything is about automating whatever they can. And to support that, you need people that are not. So you got operating hours, and you got people that you need. Basically, you need it to be 24 hours, and it's there's they make tech seem really really sexy on the surface, as well as you know, like everyone has to be like super, super smart. And that's just not the case. There's a lot of menial work in tech that has to be done that just like in like manufacturing and warehouse and stuff like that, that Americans really don't want to sit up and doing. Like people don't want to be sitting up writing code, fixing bugs, shit like that. I think where Americans who may be upset with the whole high skilled visa process as a whole, I think focus more on project management because that's honestly where tech is more comfortable of a career path. So, you know, that's how you avoid the late nights anyway. So I think people are, I think this is just more so to start chipping away at the coalition that Trump created to win this election. And they do have differences. And within this issue, this is one of those differences. And I think the other side is just trying to chip away at it. That's all.
Right.
That because they called it out based on a cabinet pick or whatever that isn't even doing immigration. They're doing AI. But just because the guy has certain views on immigration, they blew this whole thing up.
Yeah, right. And the whole thing is what I think is they're underestimating Trump supporters, and they think that we have an issue with like legal immigration, and we don't. And it's like everybody at the end of the day is like you said, tech is sexy. Everybody talks about they want to go into tech, but put that person in front of a laptop and be like, you're gonna be punching ones and zeros for the next 9 hours and see who wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that shit. So like me, I'm going in the project management side of it because I don't want to be sitting in front of a fucking computer all damn day, right? I don't want to be like stand up late at night, trying to meet a deadline or whatever when it comes to writing some code and all this stuff. But guess what? We don't want to do that. A lot of us still want to be basketball players. A lot of us still want to be football players. A lot of us want to be actors and all this shit. A lot of us just want to be outside. A lot of us want to do jobs where we can show up to work, not do nothing all day and still get a paycheck on Friday. You can't do that in tech. It's some jobs, I'm sure, but most jobs, you actually have to deliver.
Yeah, and honestly, like they rattled I think it showed how small the far right of Trump's coalition is. Because honestly, I think Vivek and Elon, I don't know why they needed to like say so much, to be honest. Like I really don't.
Yeah, they definitely need to just need to shut up. They need to what they need to understand is that a lot of the way they think, it's like above the level that many Americans are thinking on.
Right. You're not gonna get them to understand, and to do so, you're gonna confuse them.
Exactly. Like Vivek, he has to realize he's not in a corporate boardroom. And I'm not just saying that like lightheartedly. As a person who's on the stream on like YouTube, I had to realize the same thing. You can't just like lay down the hammer on people all the time because
that's the issue I had with Vivek though in the beginning, and we talked about it. Like I thought he was kind of like smarmy, and sometimes his like Yale debate team shows, and it can like I really feel like that was like the thing that could like sink him. But like he's redeemed himself, and he's a popular figure in politics and stuff like that. But because I think he cooled it down, but at the same time, like I think
they don't know politics,
part
bro.
of him is showing.
They feel like yo, we won, so fuck it. Now we could just say whatever, and it's not like that. You got 4 years. You gotta play for the 4 years and really for the next election because Trump only has 4 years.
And Trump doesn't need you to. They don't need.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't. That's what I'm saying. These are people.
It's more like Trump wants to know what they can do for him for fucking next to nothing, or for America for next to nothing. Like, hey, bring some shit out to them. Bring some shit out into space for next to nothing. Yeah, okay. Like, yeah, you may have gotten more contracts now over Boeing, but it's for half as much because remember we're cutting costs and we're being efficient. So I think Trump's not stupid. I think they need to chill a little bit. They should have just kind of let this one fizzle out. This was an easy one for the left.
And I love what Derek Foy said. He said, how many people with degrees in health and human services are way more qualified than RFK? You call him JFK. And Derek Foy, I like that you're here. Welcome to this channel. You have to understand something. It's not all about degrees. It ain't all about the white man's degrees. I like black people, for as much as they claim white people racist, you know, they want you to have that white man's degree before they'll trust you with anything. A lot of this is more about how politics works, right? Because you got all these people with degrees in health and human services and stuff. How come they haven't gone publicly to say what RFK is saying?
Sometimes right, exactly. The common thread with people around Trump is like they've put their careers and reputations on the line to say things unpopular as late.
Exactly.
I mean? And say the unpopular, if you want to call it truths, according to whatever people want to, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. There's people. It's about having fucking nuts right now.
Right, you gotta have the buck. This is what I'm saying. Is any of this worse than what the Democrats are proposing? Like, do you realize what Kamala Harris was trying to do? Like,
no, this is not worser than what the Democrats are proposing. Democrats are worser.
They were gonna do the same thing. They were gonna merge DoorDash and Uber and fucking.
No, they were gonna do worse. They were gonna do worse. Like Kamala was already ready to approve 200,000, and she wasn't even gonna do visas. She was just gonna let them come in across the southern border.
I mean, there's the fear of oligarchy, but like at the same time, it's like, look, like these, like the rich people are gonna get rich, man. Like they're doing their thing, man. Like we just see it, and it's like, you know, if you were one of those people, like you're gonna be doing the same thing, man. Like as long as you're not killing people with shit.
That is what capitalism is. They want to make money, and to make money, they got to provide services to the American people. End of the story. And if they provide good services, yeah. Like I remember this guy. I was watching his one YouTube channel. He was like, look at the top 10 companies on the Forbes 500 list. Now look at the top 10 companies on the Forbes 500 list, the Fortune 500 list 20 years ago. Are they the same 10 companies? No. You know what I'm saying? So they all will be able to exploit for a while, but they too will fall off and get absorbed and overtaken by new companies. Like we used to talk about Bill Gates being the richest man in the world, right? Warren Buffett. Now it's Elon. And Elon is going to get overtaken by somebody else.
Wasn't he worth like? Wasn't Bill Gates worth like 50 million or something, or just
50 billion or some shit?
Yeah.
But these people, like, no one stays on top. So if you're sitting up worried about trying to tear the rich down and to get them off the top, you're fighting the wrong fight, because they're going to fall from the top no matter, inevitably. So why waste your time trying to rip them down? Because as you rip one down, another one's going to come out above him.
Right, exactly. But with Elon, it's like, I mean, the thing like with Elon, I don't know how close Elon needs to get in there, because at the end of the day, like one of his competitors, like when it comes to government contracts and shit, like it's like Boeing is utterly failing. So like I don't think he needs to get so close as to like cause noise in Trump's presidency to get what he wants. I don't know exactly outside of like space contracts he wants to be in the government for, you know, because at the end of the day, here's the thing. Of course, he's talking about government efficiency because he can do things. His companies, their edges doing things more efficient or whatever. But it's, I don't know, like he's kind of a liability. He just feels like a liability. You know, I don't know if you agree, but.
I agree with you 100%. Go ahead, my brother Robert. Good to have you here. Thank you to Super Saiyan for the $5 holler in the Cash App. Guys, we're doing a $5 challenge. Kick down that $5. Hit that link, kick down that $5, and may God be with you for the rest of this beautiful Saturday. Go ahead, my brother.
Hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry I didn't make it on the first half of the stream. Where did you stand on the H-1 visas?
I said that the system is broken and needs to be fixed, and they're using it. They're not using it to bring in the best and the brightest. They're actually just using it to bring in a cheap labor force.
Okay, I agree. Yeah, I feel like with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy actually becoming advisors, it's starting to even create a wedge between what I believe the Republican Party was. I'm actually kind of disappointed in both of them. But I do see where they're coming from. These are both immigrants from other countries. So I kind of expect them to be a little bit biased towards immigrants, but it's I'm confused just like everyone else as to how something like this could happen.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're just advisors. They're not elected. No one, like, they don't control anything. They just can make a suggestion and Trump can either take it or leave it. And being the populist that he is, I know good and damn well Trump is not about to do anything to help more people come in to take American jobs. Now, Trump does talk about, getting the best and the brightest from these other countries. But if you remember Trump's presidency, his first term, he suspended the H-1B1 visa in the increase of the numbers of H-1B visas that were granted. So Trump already knew that the H-1B visa system was broken, and I believe when he gets into office, he's going to continue to fix that system. But Vivek even admitted that the system is broken, and I think a lot of people who are tripping off of what Vivek said now, they just haven't heard what Vivek has said in the past. I mean, a couple months ago, he had Indian people saying that he had turned against them, right? Because he said they need to tear down the entire H-1B visa process. They need to tear it down and build something new because the visas were not going to the best and the brightest. It was operating more like a lottery, right? So Vivek, I think what he said, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but I also think a lot of people took Vivek out of context.
I think he
Yeah,
could be disingenuous about that point, though. Like, he could
Um,
be like,
I want to say
H-1B it
something.
up for
Yeah.
cheap labor.
go ahead, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see where Elon and Vivek is coming from 100%. I don't think they're being biased at all. I just feel like people are in their feelings and people just love to take things out of context. And I love it, and it's so convenient how next minute when we agree with Vivek and everybody's on Vivek's side and Vivek says something that we all love to hear and what we want to hear, all of a sudden he's a good American. He's making us proud. But when you all of a sudden start to disagree with him, all of a sudden he's an immigrant. I just love it. I love
No,
how people love to just pin that. And even if I disagree with you, it doesn't matter what background you come from. I feel like we could disagree or agree. I just feel like the main purpose of what Elon and Vivek is trying to do is merit. Have the merit. If you're qualified, you could be able to get a job. You could be an authority of everything. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
all that
but
is.
the
That's
H1
all that
visas,
is.
the H1 visas sort of dismiss merit. It's actually sort
Yeah,
of
and Vivek said
DEI.
we need to fix the system. He actually agreed with Trump. Even Trump said the same thing. We got to fix the system.
hey,
Yeah,
So
Vivek was like
he's not he's not
Vivek was
against
like
y'all.
Vivek was like tear the whole system down because when Vivek said they need to tear down the H-1B visa system, the Indians came at him and was like, "Why are you turning against us, bro? Like, you
Right,
Indian." And he was like, "Hell no." He was like, "That system is broken." And he basically
right,
was letting them know, like, the number one people who
exactly.
benefit from that are like immigrants and like major corporations.
The problem with people is people just don't like the truth. People just want you to sugarcoat things for them and make it so nice and sweet to you. No, you gonna be qualified or you're not. Either you're gonna pull up or leave. That's it.
Listen,
That's
yeah.
it.
As the American people, we
And
have
is
the power to
and I
get
will
rid of.
say this: whether you're American or whether you're foreign, you both better be qualified. If not, pull up or leave. Yeah, it should be like that.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I just think it's a divide between the Republican Party, between the hyper capitalistics mindsets and like the homegrown MAGA America first mindset is basically what it is. And I find myself teetering on the edge of both sides, but the H1 visas sound a lot more like DEI now that I think about it. Um, and I'm just not in support of it.
100%, you are right. They are treating H-1B visas like DEI, and that is what. But Vivek has actually called that out. Right now, Vivek is just an advisor. He ain't elected to nothing. Like
I don't
he
think
can't.
they
Like
are.
they're just advisors. But here's the thing: I'm telling Americans. At the end of the day, if we really want to get rid of H-1B visas, we can. And the way to get rid of that is to make sure that our children coming up in the next generation are qualified to take these jobs. The biggest issue I have with the H-1B visa is that it is being abused. And they are using it to hire a cheap labor force, not to bring in the best and the brightest, but to get people to come work for cheap. And we got to address that. And that's why I am with Vivek when he says that that entire system needs to be dismantled, and we need to set up a new system that brings people in based on merit. But here's my thing: the Democrats were about to bring all these people in with no visa and give them your jobs. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a conversation regarding this subject, or would you rather the government under Biden and Kamala Harris say, you know what, fuck the American people, we bringing in a bunch of immigrants to take their jobs, and there's nothing they can do about it? Because that's what they were doing already.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying Trump and Elon and Vivek are in the right. They're doing a good job.
Yeah, let's have a conversation about it. And this is why I love this situation, because it is America. These are the tough conversations that Americans have. And it makes us better because we're not just glossing over situations and just like running with stupid ideologies. We are actually now looking at situations based on nuance, and we are breaking them down, and we are having the discussions, and we're going to come out on the other side successful like we always have. I don't think anybody should worry about this too much. I think at the end of the day, Donald Trump wants to see Americans prospering more than he wants to see people from other countries prospering. And I think Donald Trump might have a little thing against Indians anyway, because Kamala, all the way she tried to smear him and shit, and a lot of Indians didn't come out, strongly against Kamala Harris with her crazy Looney Tunes ideologies. So I think Trump's going to do the right thing, and I think the elected officials have been picked the right ones, and they're going to make sure that things start moving back in favor of Americans. Guys, we're going to close this out. So I want everybody to take a minute to give their final thought, and I'll start with my sister Neff. You got a minute? Then we'll go to Hakeem, and we'll let my boy Rob close us out. Go ahead, Neff.
I'm gonna have to say this, and this is the last thing I'm ever gonna say before I close out. I feel like people need to stop with this fake outrage. It's getting really, really tired. We're closer. It's about to be around 2025, right? Stop with the fake outrage, okay? Elon and Vivek have not said nothing wrong, okay? If you really want to be able to live in America and have a good life and have a successful life and be successful, do what it takes to be successful. Have the merit, have the qualifications, work hard, go out there, you know, do what you got to do to make it, just like everybody else. That's all that is. But with the victim mentality and just crying all day on the internet and creating fake outrage when it's really nothing, like this is just small. This right here is not even horrible compared to Democrats. I don't know why people are complaining. I don't understand why you're complaining. For
Because
what?
the news is blowing it up. Joy Reid and all of them,
Right.
they're looking for anything to discredit Trump. So
Right.
it'll run its course, and people will be back on seriousness. Go ahead, my brother Hakeem. Thank you, my sister.
You're welcome.
Hakeem, go ahead. You muted.
Yeah, my bad. Leaving a restaurant, but yeah, man, this don't this barely affects his base. Like you're trying to deport the way, like the competition of his base. Like a lot of the like medium to like lower wage folks. You know what I mean? I greatly benefit from this if this was the case. If they were to shake up corporate, like corporate immigration in general, it's gonna do wonders for me just because of what I do for work and shit right now. Like I literally work for an immigration firm that and our clients are these Fortune 500s like Google and shit like that are laying off their employees right now in preparation for hiring in 2025 in the second quarter. And firms like that, consultants and shit, are going to be raking in the fees just from having to redo people's paperwork and all that shit. So the more chaotic, the better for me. I just feel like there's still going to be a lot of job openings at the end of the day. But if you're American and you're worried about that and you're in tech and stuff like that, just go into project management, product management, stuff like that. You don't have to get into all the nerdy shit to be in tech. So.
Right. No, you're right. That's what I'm getting into. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you so much. Go ahead, Rooster Croin. Shout out to Rooster Croin for the contribution in the Cash App. I appreciate that, bro. Go ahead. You got a minute to drop your point because we're closing out.
Hey, man, I know I came in late, man, but to all the fake outrage, bro, and I comprehend everything Vivek and Elon are talking about. But just to y'all on this screen, because I see we all black and shit, right? I just want to ask y'all, how many folks do you know, Brandon, Nefertari, Robert? How many folks do you know, do they know that actually qualify for the tech engineering positions that these people are talking about? Because
I live in California, so I know a lot of black people that are qualified for these jobs. Like I mentioned that before you got in. I know, like in California, if you know 20 people, like 8 of them are in tech. And like I got one homegirl, her name is Ann, bro. Every time I look at her Instagram, she in another country. She works remotely. She's in like finance for like some huge tech company. She riding a G-Wagon and shit, just bought 2 houses in LA. She a black sister, man, making that bank. So I do know a lot of people are qualified, but I do understand where you're going. If you go
she
throughout
qualified
America,
for the 1% that they're talking about.
hell yeah. Bro, she making over 200,000 a year. So yeah.
Damn, I mean,
she got a
Brandon,
G-Wagon, bro.
I feel you.
She the only person I know with a G-Wagon. Like,
damn, you know what, Brandon, man? I feel you, man. But at the end of the day, bro, a lot of us, right, don't know anybody that qualifies for this 1% of position that you're talking about. That's why I respect it, bro. Because, bro, I come from Florida, bro. I cannot name one Negro down there that can qualify for this position, bro. It's a reason why every time you call certain banks or certain companies, bro, the person you're talking to is from India or other countries like that, bro. So with that mindset, I have to understand what these people are saying, bro.
But what I will say, a point that a lot of people are missing is this. There aren't even a lot of people qualified for those jobs in India. What they're doing is they're saying they're using the H-1B visa to bring in the best and the brightest, like genius level people. But what they're really doing is bringing in people who are not qualified, who will just work for cheaper wages. See, when the person comes in with a visa, you can pay them less money than you would have to pay an American by law. Like it's legal. If someone coming in on an H-1B visa, you can by law pay them like 30 or 40% less than an American, right? So I feel what you're saying and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is the companies are abusing that visa. They're not bringing in the best and the brightest. They are actually just bringing in a cheap labor force. And that is the issue that many MAGA people, like I gave you the example of the white boy. I was going to play his clip if I was at home, but he talked about how his company, he was working for Google. They came in and told him, you are going to lose your job. They told him and like 16 other people, you guys are all going to be fired in 90 days. You will be training the people who are going to replace you. He said they brought in a bunch of people from India. They were paying them half of what they were paying him and his colleagues, and they had to train these people to replace them over the next 3 months, or they would not get a severance package. That's not bringing in the best and the brightest. That is replacing your labor force with another labor force that is willing to work for less money. And that's the abuse that we need to watch out for. But what you're saying is a great point.
No, Brandon, you know what, Brandon? Like we spoke before, bro. And I gotta say, I agree with what you're saying. So I'm certified HVAC. I live in Minneapolis, bro. And ever since I've been out here, I came to the understanding that Indians from India, right? And this is something that you won't know unless you're like in the loop. You feel me? But they have this thing where they come here 7 years tax free, right? They work, get the same checks we get, but it's tax free. And after that 7 years, they go back home and renew that shit. You feel me? I've seen some of these folks before. So I understand what you're saying with that. We got to watch out for all that. But if they're talking about like the top of the line engineering, like bringing folks in here to like, keep America going on like on like a study path of, like greatness and just like, bro, like technology changes every day. And a lot of us avid Americans ain't ready on that, bro, especially not our community, bro. So
Yeah.
I kind of get, you know what I mean? I kind of get what they're saying, bro. But I also understand what you're saying, bro. Like, I'm in the loop when it comes to like these people in like their fraudulent ways, bro. I'm on it, bro. You feel me? Like, when I found out about the 7 years tax-free bullshit, I mean, how many folks on this line wouldn't want to get a paycheck for 7 years tax-free? That should bone me up.
Everybody.
You feel me? So I understand what you're saying, man. But when it comes to that 1%, bro, we don't know too many people, bro. Like I said, I now live in Minneapolis, bro. It's a lot of techie people out here, bro. But are they like the top, like the 1% that can really move us in like the next direction? I don't know too many of those, bro. But I hear you. You from California,
Yeah,
I get it.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, yeah, bring in the best and the brightest, but at the same time, you got to make sure the playing field is level. And on top of that, don't be bringing in a bunch of remote, like, don't be bringing in a bunch of people who aren't the best and the brightest, but you just bringing them in because they work for less. I mean, this is the same thing they used to do with Mexican people. They let this dude come in, bro ain't making the soup as good as you making it, but he willing to do it for half the cost. So all of a sudden, they over here pumping him up. We've all dealt with this at work.
Yeah.
I used to work at a fucking grocery store. They had this Mexican bitch named Anna come in. Bitch couldn't even read or write, but somehow she was like, they promoted her. She got promoted over me. And I'm like, how the hell? And I found out, one, she was an illegal immigrant. Two, she was fucking our district manager. But the guy tried to pump her up to make her seem like she was all that. But the reality is, bro was just fucking her. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Cause I know that type of foul play goes on in the workplace in America. And that's just why I agree with you. But on top of that, we as Americans need to stay vigilant. And I also agree with you with the black community. Like, shut the fuck up, because most of us don't even care about doing no tech job or nothing.
We got to. And that's where I come from, because that's what I'm part of, bro. Like,
and
bro,
we need to,
folks, bro. I don't know a lot of us that can go up there and really do our thing. You feel me? So
right. But like Hakeem was saying, a lot of people think tech jobs require like all this incredible intellect. Trust me, they don't. I see people. I'm downtown Long Beach right now. I see people working tech jobs that are dumb as fuck, dumb as a doorknob. Like, can't even turn on a computer. Like, it's really like any job. They train you how to do it, and if you can be trained like a monkey, then you could do the job. We need to start going after them jobs though, for real.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to say
go ahead.
one thing. I agree with Rooster. I like your point. You made a lot of great points. I love the fact that you actually, brought that. I think it's a matter of like, merit. And I understand. Yeah, we definitely need, like people who are coming from foreign places definitely have some merit. Like, they can't be just working for cheap. They just need to bring more to the table, qualifications. So that, just quick, I definitely 100% agree with you. You made great points. Thank you.
Hey, all right. Thank all y'all. Rob, go ahead, my brother. Close this out, because we got to. And also, don't forget, it's still not too late to contribute to the stream. We got a $5
Brandon,
challenge going.
Hey, before you cut me up, I just want to say, man, usually when you and Nefertari on, man, y'all make a good, I like your conversations. I'm going to try to catch y'all like sooner next time. I just came in the house and I was listening.
Thank you.
And I had to show my support, you know what I mean? But I'm going to try to catch y'all sooner next time and participate next time, man, you know what I mean? So y'all go ahead, have a good night, man.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the contribution. And thank you for hopping up and giving your input.
All right.
Go ahead, my brother Rob. Thank you, Neff. I'm going to drop you down.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
I think there's just I think a lot of Gen Z kids will actually be interested in the tech field. We may not know a lot of black people who are interested in the tech field, but I know I'm a little older, so we're kind of still doing like the traditional trade jobs. But I know a lot of younger kids are on the computer a lot more, playing video games a lot more, streaming. I think a survey was done that the most popular job that a Gen Z kid would like to be whenever they get older is actually a YouTuber. So these are already computer-oriented generations that are coming after us. So I think the scope of Black people is going to widen, and we are going to actually be more interested in tech jobs in the future. So that's why I don't agree with the H-1 visa. And I also don't agree with Elon Musk. I think he kind of just slipped into the race last minute now that I'm looking at it, and I actually don't trust him as much as I used to, because I mean, I don't really care how anyone else feels about it, but I'm a Black American. I'm a proud Black American. I know there's a lot of immigrants that watch the channel, but that's just is what it is. I think he's going to have a bias towards immigrants. I think he's already also been on the record for thinking Americans are lazy and everything like that, and which, I mean, some Americans are lazy, but that doesn't really confirm that we should be abusing visas. There's a tweet that I saw from him on Twitter. I quote, "The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. Take a step back and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." So we have basically the richest man on the planet living in America telling us to fuck ourselves, which is with ourselves, meaning basically the MAGA ground base, if we don't like H-1B. And I think that's dangerous, and it actually sound pretty threatening. We're talking about a guy who receives U.S. taxpayer funded EV subsidies, who I don't know how that isn't threatening to anyone, but all I'm saying is, closing out, that we should watch Elon Musk, especially if you're a Republican like I am. And just stay safe, everyone. Thank you for having me, Brandon. I'm gonna donate to the channel.
Hey, my brother, I appreciate you coming up, and I'm with you 100%. This is why I love when Donald Trump is in office, because everyone starts paying attention to politics again. And that's what Americans need to do. We are no longer in the era where we can put our heads in the sand and just let people do whatever the freak they want to us, and we're not paying attention and saying we're going to be all right. Listen, we all know that what Vivek said is a bunch of horse shit. Dude, you're America, what makes America great is the $800 billion in taxpayer money that we're spending on this military, and we will fuck you up if you try something. And guess what? You built rockets. We got plenty of rockets. They're called missiles, my nigga. Hypersonic. They come knock your ass down. So that's what makes America great. Not nothing he did. He is an innovator. Yes. Bro is doing shit, but he's also doing what he's doing with a lot of subsidies from the U.S. government. So he wouldn't be able to do anything he's doing without these regular run-of-the-mill, dumb as he may think of them, American citizens. And that is what makes America great. The people who pay the taxes have the power, and the people who want to innovate depend on the taxpayers. And guess what? We write the check. We can cut the check. We can cut the check, and we can keep the check. Stay vigilant, man. Thank you all for watching this stream. I appreciate everything you do for this channel. Until the next time, please take care of yourself. But most importantly, please take care of each other. And I'm going to be back with you all tomorrow. Shout out to everyone who liked the stream. Shout out to everyone who shared the content. And shout out to everybody who contributed to the stream. Everyone is important to what we're doing here. Also, if you have not done it already, please go like and subscribe to the Notorious BDT channel. All content like this at the beginning of the year will be going over there. I know we got a good group here tonight, but most of the times you guys don't love a lot of like political content. You guys like Pan-African content. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is, when I do streams like this, I'm going to chop them up into clips, and I'm going to put them over on that other channel for my people who might not be able to watch the whole thing, whether they're at work or whatever. I want everyone, in case you don't watch, or I don't hear from you, or I don't see you up here, have a beautiful new year. Take care of your family, love your family, get outside, get your ass off of this phone or this computer and get your ass outside and enjoy nature or whatever you got to do, because tomorrow is not promised. But I will talk to you all tomorrow, and I have another banger for you tomorrow. and we're gonna get it in. Have a wonderful night. It's getting to be dark here. The sun is looking real beautiful out here in California. I don't know if you guys can hold on, let me see. I'll give you guys this. Facing back. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm just looking out on the street, as I'm sitting here. Sun's going down. It's looking really beautiful. I'm stealing some Wi-Fi from this coffee shop by my house because I didn't want to go in the house because I'm not trying to make a lot of noise right now. We got folks that's sleeping. Everybody is, a lot of people are working at night, doing a lot of things tonight. So I was trying to be respectful and considerate of everyone. So we are here. I'm looking out onto the city. It's looking beautiful. A few people are passing by. It's a great evening. Sun's going down on the Western Front. And I wish you all the best. Be the one with the big booty gods. But have a good night, y'all. Peace.